If you're a beginner in After Effects, here's how you can use Chat GPT to create your first few animations and fast. We're going to make a simple counter, applying a time loop to animate shapes, and adding a dynamic camera movement to a layer. All of these will be created with little to no keyframes or layer effects. We'll be creating these animations using expressions generated by Chat GPT, a chatbot developed by OpenAI. An After Effects expression is a piece of code written in JavaScript language that can automate and control animations without the use of keyframes. So once you're in After Effects, we'll create a new composition. If we head to duration, just set it to 10 seconds, and we'll just call it basic animations. And if you want to use the same colour as me, I've included the exact hex code in the description. Head to the text tool and just click in the centre of the screen and type 0. Now we're going to align this, so we'll head to the right hand side of the screen, but don't worry, if you don't see the align, head to window and then just check align at the top. Then we will click these two to align it directly to the centre. We'll then open this layer's properties by clicking the arrow and then text. If we hold Alt and then click the stopwatch, it'll open the expression. Now we'll head to Chat GPT to generate an expression for us. Every time you ask Chat GPT a prompt, it may generate a different code. So I've included the exact one I have used in the comments below if you want to follow along. So we'll simply copy code and then Control or Command V to paste it here. Then just click out of the expression editor to apply it. Now, if we scrub through the timeline, we can see it goes a bit slow. All we've got to do is go back into the editor and we can change this 100 to, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000, and it'll count up a bit faster. Now, let's say you wanted this to represent money. Simply head back to ChatGPT and type something along the lines of counter expression, 2 decimals, and currency. And now, if we head back to the editor, we can change that currency to anything we like. So dollars, euros, or pounds. For our next animation, we'll just hide this layer for now by clicking the little eye. Then we'll head to Layer, New, Shape Layer, and then we'll click the pen tool, and then if we click here, and then hold Shift and click a point next to it, it'll draw us a line. We can then just turn the fill off, and I've set my stroke to 7, and then set the colour to anything you like. Next, we're going to duplicate this shape by pressing Ctrl or Command D, and then we can press V a few times to create a few duplicates. Now we can move these around the composition. You'll see how this is useful later on. We're going to create a short animation to make these lines enter and exit the composition, but we want this to apply to all the layers at once. If we press our bottom layer and then Shift and click our top layer, it'll select them all. And then press P on your keyboard and it'll open up the position properties. Next, we're going to click the little keyframe button and then hold Shift while we drag our anchor point until all the lines leave the composition. That's our first keyframe. We'll then scrub forward to about a second and do the same thing but to the right. Once again holding Shift and dragging our lines out. To make this more smooth, go to our very top layer and highlight all the keyframes. Then right click Easy Ease. To close all these properties, we'll click the first layer in the bottom one and then press P. In order to apply our next effect, we're going to have to pre-compose this layer as the time remapping effect can't be applied to individual shape layers. So we're going to right click and head to pre-compose. And then make sure you've ticked Move All Attributes into the new composition. Right click, head to Time, and then press Enable Time Remapping. This will then allow us to add our time loop expression. Open the shape's properties, and where it says Time Remap, we're going to do Alt and click, and then it'll open up the expression settings again. Next, we're going to paste in our expression. As our composition is 10 seconds long, we want to set the end time to 10. And then if we scrub along, we can see that all of our lines leave the composition at 1 second. So we'll set the duration to about a second or 0.9. And for our last effect, we're going to apply a dynamic camera movement to a shape. So we're going to go to Layer, New Shape Layer. If you hold your mouse on this shape, it'll bring up the options of ones we can draw. We'll select Circle. If we hold Shift, it'll scale the circle evenly. In order to enable the dynamic camera movement, we need to turn this layer into a 3D layer. So we're going to click this little cube here. If we head to the shape's properties, we're going to head to Position and edit the expression here. And you might notice now that once we've pasted the expression, the circle appears to be off the composition. We simply just go onto anchor point and drag these points across until you can see it again. You can experiment with all the settings to make the circle bounce to any desired position. So I hope you found these useful in creating your first few animations using After Effects and Chat GPT. Thank you so much for watching.